Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read as well as all 12 signs. That'll be the second half of the video. I came across some things I'd written. Actually, they were both written within the month or two before I met my twin. So I wanted to share it with you. I don't know why I decided on sharing it today because I've had them since then. But they just happened to be here, and I guess I was guided to do so. So the first thing I had written down, it was just a moment where I was feeling a certain way, and so I wrote this down, and probably was a little frustrated working at the time. If you just slow down, you go a whole lot faster. I'm always trying to catch up to the faster ones, to the prettier ones, to the smarter ones, to the more successful ones, to my kids, to life's expectations, to me. I'm not complaining, I'm just tired, so I'm going to slow down, and maybe I'll catch up to me. So that was one thing I wrote, and this is just within the month or two of the time that I met my twins. This was 2015. The other one was after I watched a movie called The Face of an Angel, and I wrote, my heart and soul are profound, but my words only make light of their substance, only fail their wisdom, only disrupt their meaning, only fade in translation. They do not describe the depth of my humanity, my inhumanity, my godliness. To remain silent represents the face of an angel, the comfort of a mother's arms, the safety of a father's love, my father's eyes encased in his lifeless body, his duty to my mother's tears, tears agreed upon by God to teach her that life is not love, but quite the contrary, that love is life on all planes. So I just wanted to share those two with you. I'm going to get right into the Divine Masculine read. I didn't get to sleep till about 4 a.m. last night, so I did sleep late this morning. But the energy felt good during this read this morning. I'm just getting a little tired now because it did take me a long time to do the read. It was done at, where are we? It was completed at 12:15 to 16, which is the Devil in the Tower energy. But that was after I'd written some other things as I was putting out the cards. So I wanted to tell you about that stuff as well. Let's see. I'm not sure what time I actually cut the original deck, but excuse me. I woke up at 8:08 this morning, so 8/8's been really significant. I told you yesterday, the day before, we had 4 8s in the read. Yesterday we had 2 8s. I did a read last night really late, a full read. It wasn't as long, but that was, I think, double 8s. Let's see. I had watched Eat, Pray, Love, and I'd seen it before, but it's been years since I saw it, so I watched it again. So of course I cried afterwards and had a little purge, but because of the movie, because it was so beautiful at the end. But I got double 8s again in the read last night, and then we have triple 8s in the masculine read today. So 8s are really big. I just wanted to see if there's anything I wanted to bring up. Again, when I did last night's read, communication came up from the numerology deck, and again the C was covered, so I got the Om unication word, and healing came up as well. The Archangel Bridge, the Han Solo came up, Han to the nth degree for the masculine, being the Knight of Flames or the Knight of Wands, to support the Divine Feminine in the Om unication, the coming together, and being more Om or Zen. Also the AA came up, so that could be Alcoholics Anonymous, but it could be a lot of different things. It could be American Airlines as well. But the Euro-India Gateway came up after that, which can just be the bridging here. But again, the Hanth, the Hanishness, the Han to the nth degree of Han Solo, after death test, and that's referencing to Jesus's after death test of the the fire support, the transmutation of being half of two, or how the twins are, and the zenness of the feminine energy within him. So again, the double 8s came up yesterday. I did get triple 1s yesterday as well. And today, well, not only did we get the 3 8s were the most significant, but we also got 2 9s, 2 10s, and then when I put out the cards for the after the read cards and the prior to the read cards, we also had 3 2s. So 3 8s, 3 2s, 2 9s, 2 10s were in the read. The code line was all about pride today, and that was cool too. I actually put the numbers up today in the numerology cards that came up because the sequence of the numbers were more important to me than the names on the cards. So we did get which was the top. So pride was the main card for the code line. But I wanted to tell you because the 3 cards that came up, some of them right side up and some upside down, so the numbers are upside down, but they all came up as very similar in that they came up 19, 99, and 19 right in a row. Was there another one? Let me see the other one. And the underlying energy was 16. So it was 1 6, and then below that was 1 9, 9 9, and 1 9. But they were all the 6 9 because some of them were reversed. So those that said 9 9 were actually 6 6 and 1 6. So it's all about the 6s and 1s coming up there in the underlying energy from the number deck. And then we had the 888s and the 222s here, but 8s definitely were more significant. So that code line all about pride today, or the 19 of the sun. The code line added up also 2 and 8. It was 98 and then 17, which reduces to 8, so another 8 and the star. The 8 of flames came up here, which is that 8 of wands. That physical, fast communication back and forth, which is expression of feelings. It's the arrows of love. It's also the heated exchange, or just an exchange of energy between you. So involving pride, on that code line, I was getting a couple different kinds of messages. One had to do with being an ass or being asinine. So the ass of the hermit expresses feelings of false pride. And this read was all about the emperor. He was the only major arcana today. And the emperor in this deck, the Syrian Starseed deck, is called Reason. So this read is kind of like titled, The Masculine Telling the Feminine the Reason Why. And then we have pride coming up, okay, and the sun. So the ass of hermit, so he could be calling himself an ass and hermiting, or could be calling the divine feminine an ass. But either way, expressing feelings of false pride. As the southeast of the divine feminine shows power of the northeast strength of flames or fire. That's transmutation. So what did I write down here? So there was a reference between the southeast and the northeast, and the way I've coded the directions were east is the feminine, west is the masculine, north is toggling up to the etheric realm, south is grounding to the center of Gaia. So southeast, so toggling up of the feminine versus grounding of the feminine, it was referencing that she can't make up her mind. Like she keeps going back and forth like that 8 of wands, toggling up and then grounding and not sticking with one thing. You know how the masculines like to stick with one thing? So maybe they don't get that. But also Florida was coming up, and New Orleans came up yesterday, and a couple other places were coming up today. But again, southeast and northeast are all in the east, so New Orleans and Florida, also Tennessee, are all southeast. So they could be coming up as a reference for or a message to someone. But there's a show of power of the feminine. The northeast is showing up as the strength of transmutation. But that the flames, the fire is the foe, the drama. That's the foe, the falseness. The asinine 8 of wands, the arrows of love. So the masculine be saying love is stupid. The asinine 8 of wands, the heated exchange, the drama. So you could be saying the drama is asinine. The southeast to the northeast, the grounding and the toggling up. The grounding of the divine feminine perhaps, and then the toggling of the divine masculine, but they're both going east, so that's more feminine. But the masculine may be referencing that the feminine changes her mind with the wind. So maybe he's worried about stability with you, that you can't stick with something. Changing direction with the wind due to pride, and that can also be him giving you the reason why he keeps changing direction, due to pride. So he gets brave to, to be who he really is, and then because of pride, or if he gets his feelings hurt by the divine feminine or something that is said, then he retreats again. So it's referencing to both the feminine and the masculine, so the feminine within the masculine, and how he can go back and forth as well. But again, it's about vacillating, going back and forth, changing your mind with the wind, with no reason or rhyme. Okay, and reason's coming up here. But it's coming up due to pride. As the feminine hermit exchanges energy back and forth, false pride is the reason. And the hermit can also be the collective consciousness, the wise one. As the feminine energy, the hermit, the wise one, exchanges energy back and forth, false pride is the reason for going back and forth. So again, it's the negative self-talk of the feminine, and then the masculine feeling her negative self-talk. Okay, so her going forward, but then feeling insecure and then pulling away energetically, then the masculine feels the same. The Emperor also in the deck holds a false hand. He's literally letting go of the false hand into the fire. Letting go of the fire, of the drama in the life. Or it could literally be referencing to the ass of the divine feminine, or as the Sophia 9, the collective feminine consciousness. The 8 is the balanced dance within, continuously balancing the masculine and feminine within. And then of flames, of fire, drama, all that kind of stuff. But then Florida was coming up as well. Florida, because Florida is very hot too, that can reference the flames, the heat. Maybe a foe to the feminine, that kind of hotness or drama. The masculine might see as maybe they're worried that the feminine can't handle that kind of drama that's constantly around them in their life. So as we get more into the read, and let me tell you all the numbers first too. I didn't tell you all of them. We had the triple eights and the double nines and tens. So we also had 8, 9, 10, or actually 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 came up as well. Begin again. The triple twos. The 28 is the Two of Wands, or the Twin Flames. The 24 is the Queen of Wands. 48 is the 8 of Cups, the walking away and within. And then 89 also came up, and then less so 87, which is the Knight of Pentacles, which actually was very important in this read today. We also had 25, 21, which is the 25 of the Knight of Wands, and the 21 of the World and completion. And the World was definitely upright and complete today. And the Knight of Wands was upright today. So we started out with the 9 of Orbs as the underlying energy, along with the Ace. This is the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups was reversed though today. And then we had the 6 of Crystals and the 7 of Crystals. Both of them were reversed. And that's funny because these two cards come up together here. They also come up together separate at the end. Well, actually that was 7 and 9 of Pentacles reversed, but very similar. This is 6 and 7 of Pentacles. And then we have the 9 of Orbs there. Now, of the 3 8s, because it was 3 8s, I looked for the one missing, and it was the 8 of Swords that was missing. But you see here at the start of the read, we're getting rid of all the swords. We have the 9 and the 10 of Swords here, so we don't need that 8 of Swords anymore. We're getting rid of all the swords here for the Divine Masculine. All the pain, all the suffering. So we have that 9 of Orbs with the Ace of Cups reversed, 6 of Crystals, and the 7 of Crystals reversed. Dumped, overwhelmed, pushed to their emotional limits. Unfair relationship, in debt, or someone may have been scammed. But now strategizing, implementing a plan. The masculine could be very stressed out, purging or crying, maybe up nights, maybe headaches, but thinking, what have I done? Like may feel regret at this point. So no matter what that is, there's a turnaround, turn of events, turn down, change of fortune, slow motion, broken, warpath, car issues, canceled move or trip, unable to move forward. The King of Cups reversed could just be crying a lot, emotionally detached, or drinking issues, or sudden awakening and epiphanies, event, or all comes to a standstill as the Hermit sheds new light on all of it. And that was at 1242, which is the Hangman and 42 of the Two of Cups. So as we turn the page, it's 1243. 43 is the Three of Cups of coming together. Both the 2 and 3 of Cups were upright in the read today. So in addition to Florida and New Orleans, for me also Greece and Mount Sinai and Egypt were coming up again, as well as the OC. So out west, that may be one thing, but over here, that's Ocean City. We actually have 2 ocean cities on our coast. We have one in New Jersey and Maryland. So that was coming up, so it may reference different things for all of you. The sun was coming up reversed and the moon, but the sun was reversed, walking away and within, and the sun going down on me is coming up for the masculine. So don't let the sun go down on me. Then we have at 1244 to 45, which is the 4 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. Could be feeling sorry for yourself, unable to let go, grounding and integrating, trying to master all of your passions and your thoughts and all of those kind of things, and feeling a little depressed about it, or just unable to let go of that third baton to run the 4th leg of the race, or decide to start over again. Just letting go. So death reversed had fallen. The actual card of the death was, it's over here on the corner. You can't see it yet, but when I turn the camera, you'll be able to see it. But death and the devil came up reversed together here, and they also came up at another place in the read together. So that there was 2 sets of cards, and it might actually have been more. It was pretty cool that way today. But it was up, it was reversed next to the devil reversed over on the card what's around the Divine Masculine. And at one point it fell, the death card fell on the floor, and I found it underneath the couch, but now it was right side up, which is the Dark Knight, like Batman. So the death reverse had fallen off the table, but found it hiding under the sofa, right? But when they were hiding, they became fully transformed, right? Because they just needed some privacy, I guess. But sundowning, surrendering the wounded warrior with family issues or practical issues, possibly of no affection or a breakup on journey or getting attention. Good news, victory, and success. So there's definitely some mixed energies here. Definitely some very positive ones, but definitely some still going through detoxing from toxic relationships, things like this. Gabriel definitely came up in this read today for communications at 1:49. Actually, at that same time that Gabriel came up, my twin friend called me, and we had an hour conversation. So that ended up being 59 minutes, which again is that 5 of Swords, but it's also the minute before the hour, so the 11th hour coming up again. 1:49 is the Magician, and the 9 of Cups, the Get Your Wish card, when Gabriel came up, of communications. It's like Gabriel is holding their wings below the 4D bridge, but just under it, enough to kind of control what's going on down here. Just below the 4D bridge, Trinity and the Christ consciousness orchestrating a journey. And this is at 150. And right as I wrote orchestrating a journey, the 10 of Cups is 50. So at 150, the 10 of Cups came up with a scam likely card. So that 10 of Cups could definitely be the sham fam. You know, it looks good on the outside, but not so much on the inside. So with Gabriel and below the 4D bridge, hovering over Trinity, Christ consciousness, and orchestrating the journey below, the music of the spheres came up, as well as peers. The music of our peers, of the twins. We are the world. The fantasy, the dream lovers, the victory, back on the horse, never giving up, back in the saddle again. And the sun brightened when I wrote that. And then I wrote down Brighton Place. And as well, when we had a house down the shore, my family, it was on Brighton. So the numbers from that address came up as well. Let's see here. And then I was getting Butt Connect at 155. That's the Magician, and the 55 of the Ace of Swords, the Truth. And that energy creeping along a little bit. And that was as I was exposing the Lover's card. I was looking right at it. I was getting Butt Connect. Then I pulled down the card, and there's the Lover's card, the lower half of it, which is the naked male and female, which was just cracked me up. But the mountain between us, which shows in the Lover's card, a big mountain, the bridge over troubled water, being Gabriel today, and walking through it, arriving in 5D, the end of the marathon, the 6 coins, the monad, the kingpin, the only twin, two trees and a mountain between. The divine feminine's tree is abundant, the divine masculine in poverty. So it doesn't have to be financial, it can just be feeling impoverished emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is. 6 coins showing 6 wands as well, and the lover's card. So it's 666 here. He must go for the dream. Gabriel, burning bush, and orange groves. Florida, the burning bush. Mount Sinai, the 6 of wands, was coming up as Greece. And Trinity, the 2 dogs, the old man, the child, and the mother. The Christa Sophia, the 3rd energy, Metatron, and Michael, the dog's out. And the chair of conversation. So remember, when I talk about the chair, it's about how the 44, when you stack chairs, becomes the H, or the 8. So there's the dance, okay? The doorway also, the doorway sometimes that I reference in the 4 of Swords card, which I brought up this past week, which it's not like a completed archway, it's kind of a funky doorway. But that doorway is coming up as significant as well as the stacking 4s as the H, the quilt sewn together, the sun rays, and the angels orchestrating. Journey to the ultimate family, the Christ consciousness, the gold coin, the co-hand, the co-pilots. And then some of the coding from the cards was coming up between the Roman numerals and the numbers. And the Queen of Pentacles came up here, as well as the Parthenon or the Pantheon, whatever it is, in Greece was coming up. Also, chapter 6 was coming up. So I don't know who that was referencing. So if any of you want to, check a certain Bible verse, you might want to do that. Also, it was canceling out to V61095, also V1095, V1, which can also reference 6 in Roman numerals, and then the V1095. So, and it was interesting because Route 95 runs by me, but it also runs through a lot of other states, and 610 is an area code by me. So however that reference is for you, that's how you should take it. Volume 6, High Vibration, the Hermit, and the Hierophant. So the 2 H's there for the Hermit and the Hierophant coming up. The wise one that goes within. The Hermit can also be an old wise man. It can be a professional. It can be a Virgo person. And then the Hierophant of commitment, the patriarchy, commitment to higher self. It's the establishment, whereas the Hermit is the solo, the Han Solo. The Hierophant is the group or the establishment, the community, the society, leading the way out of suffering to victory, to V-Day was coming up. And then I was getting the Vagina Day. And of course that was a little joke from them. But yes, about the feminine, the leading the way out of suffering at 2:15. The coding was coming up at 2:12, so the High Priestess and the Hangman. Oh, I meant to tell you, I didn't tell the day today. The High Priestess in 15 then is the devil. The High Priestess and the devil, the shadow side of everyone. And I forgot to tell you the days today because it's the 12th. The day is the 12, and then the day adds up to 33/6, which is very much about Jesus. It's the Hangman, and 33 is the Christ vibration. It's the 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself without reacting. And so it's very much about Jesus on the cross today. So, leading the way out of suffering with that V, Victory Day, can be V-Day and have to do with war and victory, but also Vagina Day. The Queen of Pentacles is out being seen. She's very grounded, right, and well-rounded after the war. Celebrations, apologies, and PTSD being dealt with. The 9/11 yesterday, everyone dealing with the PTSD from that as well. Invasion of Normandy. The war is over. Spirituality. Divorce or breaking commitment outside the box. Belief in something bigger than ourselves. Our connection with higher self. The move to peaceful waters. The 6 of the Lovers, love, family, community. And then the 55 was upside down. And it looks like marathon runners. The twins, the brotherhood, the two Y's upside down. So I'm getting two 5s upside down and the Y's upside down, right? The Y in the road. But two of them, two brothers, the patriarchy, right? The brotherhood, whatever group or society leaves women out. But I was being shown the two Y's upside down. The path of the downstream is easier, going with the flow. There's no resistance. And that references the veins in the legs as well. Because if you have an upside down Y, that's literally the aorta and the leg vessels, which was very typical for me to see because I worked in interventional radiology. So that's why Spirit would know that I would relate to it that way. So the path downstream is easier, going with the flow because there's no resistance. And then Edward Scissorhands comes up. And that was the second time Edward came up. Because I was getting with, there's one card in the Kipper deck. I always get the courtship of Eddie's father. And I got that again this morning as I was doing the read. And now Edward came up again, so that's significant for someone. But also Edward in the royal family, so War of the Roses was coming up again. I forget where Edward is placed in all this, but Edward was coming up and the War of the Roses, because we're in the aftermath of the war now. Edward Scissorhands lets go of his scissors, the false hand of the emperor. It wasn't really his to begin with. Metal isn't human. Overkindness comes up with the Hierophant reversed. The fall of the patriarchy and the institution of peace. So instituting peace as opposed to instituting the patriarchy. The Queen of Pentacles brings in grounded, divine feminine energy to end the war. This is what we're doing since the masculine has overtaken our world for the past 2,000 years. The feminine is not taking over now, but rather just breaking even, like correcting the balance to bring peace. The Queen of Pentacles brings in that grounded feminine energy to end the war. Then wedding comes up, which means this relationship just involves marriage. It doesn't mean there actually is a wedding, but it could be. But below that was retreat. So we have War of the Roses here, having to do with marriage, and you know the movie War of the Roses. It's the same thing about the Red Rose family and the White Rose family in England. And then when the war ends, troops retreat in order to reorder what's happened. All right, now what do we do? So we have the 226 there. 2 is the High Priestess and 26 is the Page of Wands. And if you, let's see here. Yeah, and so the Page of Wands is that inspiration, that light, at the end of the tunnel. The child, who's inspired and gets you back on track after the war, right? To get you focused again. So as we turn the pages, 227, the High Priestess and the Ace of Wands, which came up twice within the read yesterday, that new passion, that new inspiration, how when things end, and I'm losing my voice a little bit here, the inspiration comes for the new beginning. So again, we're talking about Jesus on the cross here. And a reminder that when I was in the south of France and we were meditating by the Cathar's Castle, which was very significant to me because at the time we were visiting the Cathar's Castle where they were all killed, and they were killed by the Catholics actually formally apologized to the Cathars that year that I was there. But when we were at the bottom of the hill from the castle, we were meditating, and I had received a message from Jesus and it was referencing his time on the cross. Look to the sun and to the butterflies, and why keep your eyes closed when there's all of this to see? And when I was there just hanging out, a huge black butterfly, and I'm losing my voice, landed on me when I was inside the Cathar's Castle. It was really beautiful. I'm losing my voice, though, because there's a lot to be said about the deaths of the Cathars. So as we turn the page here with the new passion at the end of the war, the end of flirtation and teasing and show of muscle, dreams are out to be seen and heard. The third party through work or work issues, or end of a dream to surrender to the Page of Cups, the unconditional love, puppy love, a message of love, a child, the need to express his heart, the Divine Masculine, or the need to talk to a friend. The Divine Masculine not sharing and distressed right now, surrendering the story, the wounds. If doesn't come forward, it's like feels like he's going to explode. The man hiding the flame, the bird with his, so this is referencing some of the story he's telling a friend. the man hiding the flame, so it could be someone who interfered between him and his twin, the bird with a split tail, like a V, or the Y in the road, the billy goat pulled on a chain, could be the bird's father, so he was kept on a leash by the father of the karmic. One dove, one sparrow, he sees her as pure and himself as nothing special, unable to find the words, how he wanted to just scoop her up in his arms that day by the exposed logs, or by the tea brewing, or herbs, healthy things being offered. Using a feather pen and an inkwell, dessert, rose pink and candle to inspire him, but darn cat kept messing with his paperwork, and all he could see is her in the arms of someone else, with the false light, or under the false light, sitting by or on the logs, imagining her in his lap, cooking something together, or cooking something up together. My toes, and this is my toes, but my toes was the first guide I ever connected with. My toes, his butt, chocolate sheets and heels off, one foot, another missing, thinking of all scenarios and things that could possibly be wrong with her. Can't step on a heart if it's not left on the floor. Or someone, or so, this is when you get defensive about it and then you blame the other person. So the masculine, planning his defense to her, well, if you didn't leave your heart on the floor, I couldn't have stepped on it. So that was coming through there. Or someone missing a foot and he feels responsible for it, or just missing the point of my toes, a guide. Suffering in journey, retreating from a marriage with love messages. Rebirth comes up here for the masculine, which is number 16, like the tower energy. And beneath that was adventure, 55, the truth. And again, upside down, the marathon runners. So again, that's chariots of fire, the two men running side by side, despite their differences. The Three of Cups comes up, and then the Three of Pentacles and the underlying energies. The Knight of Pentacles and the Hermit. The Knight of Pentacles, for those of you who don't know, earth signs, the Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus signs are very grounded. Or it's just someone who has those qualities. The Knight of Pentacles, working hard to enjoy themselves and be social and joyful, or works with a lot of women, girls, or is very social and parties and such. And the Hermit focused on their work and holding the light. The Knight of Pentacles looking back and up to see that connection of light to the Hermit, but the Hermit doesn't need to look, because they go within and focus on transmutation and cutting cords and chains that bind. And that all was at 257, where scam likely came up again. 57 is the Three of Swords. It's a three-way situation or heartbreak, separation, love rain on me, or just getting stuck out in the rain. The High Priestess and the Three of Swords. Scam likely. Okay, so one third party through work and manifestation, and the other third party through gossip and emotions shared. The Page of Pentacles reversed could be a privileged child, possibly a poor student, or possibly in need of help, or an opportunity, or money, time, or energy, or effort. Two gold feathers in their green cap, unsure about peacock with pink flower. Doesn't seem quite human to him, and both of them are turned around. The page seems a little dicey and too groomed for the feminine, perhaps. Not sure what to do with the gold coin, the page. The strong psychic connection is undeniable looking back. Kermit in Birkins with Miss Peacock. Not sure he would take on that name, but pig is off the menu these days. He sees green and eyes and multicolored tile everywhere. Two chalices in calm waters. And this was at 308, which is the Empress and the Strength card. Two chalices in calm waters. Making molds, perhaps, in pottery or jewelry class, or perhaps poetry. And that's at 309, the Empress and the Hermit. Or realizing they broke the mold in making his reflection, saying that they broke the mold when they made his twin, which was actually a very sweet thought. And then 3 roots and 2 molds. Or it could be 3 pots, but roots was supposed to come up here. 3 pots, 2 molds, What goes up must come down. Spinning wheels gotta go round, but I wrote down move on. So spinning wheels gotta move on. Talk about your trouble is a crying sin. Ride a painted pony. Let the spinning wheels spin. To show you the colors that are real. And then I was getting splatter. Remember the splatter art that used to be at all the fairs? I'm sure they still do, but I was seeing the splatter of paint everywhere in all different colors. Topaz, teal, and green with yellow and gold. Feathery touch, silky and pure. The shadowy Viking has sailed. No more smooth talk. It's all about the eye today. One eye and no periphery. All seeing tunnel vision, no distractions. Third eye, double visions. Light to touch. An opportunist has left the building. A thing of the past. Suffering is also a thing of the past. Journeying on to calm waters and peace with a message of love and rebirth, number 16. And again, remember the read was done at 15 to 16, which is that devil and tower energy, shedding the dark in a tower moment or epiphanies. So then more of the coding from the cards was coming up with the 5, and then 3 was on top of the 9, and then in Roman numerals, the number 17. So we had 5, 39, 17. The Hierophant, the 39, and the star. And if you write the symbols, the Hierophant is 5, is change. So I put the triangle. And then on the star, I put the Merkaba star. So here we have the 39 of the Knight of Cups in the middle of the triangle or the Star of David. So the Knight of Cups amidst change, pyramid, triangle, or the Merkaba versus the Jewish star. And before we get into the recent position, I'm going to show you around the cards, and then we'll get there. All right. So we have that 9 of orbs or swords there in the underlying energy. 9 of flames is there in the recent past. The 10 of orbs or swords is in the foundation there. And the center of the read is the 8 of crystals, this guy here, which is like the 8 of pentacles. The challenge being the 8 of flames, and the other underlying energies, and you see that 2 of cups there, and the 2 of cups is upright in both decks that I do reversals in. And then we have the King of Cups there with the one eye showing. You see how there's only one eye in many cards showing today. So it's all about the one eye. And there's no peripheral vision when you only have sight through one eye. So we bridge across here, and we come to the 4 of flames in the near future, which was reversed energy today. The masculine sees himself as the 8 of cups, that Batman walking away, possibly on the beach. And then we have the romance angel cards there, and then around the masculine, or how he's seen, is the twin flames, the 2 wands, the 2 flames, which is upright today. Blocks he needs to clear is the 10 of flames, or 10 of wands. And then we end up on the Emperor card with you see the numbers on the numerology cards, how they lined up today, and look up there too. We had 55, the 2 runners there, and then 16, which if reversed would be the same as down here. It would have been 91. So it's all about those 6s and 1s. Pretty cool, huh? Then we have the Emperor, the Knight of Cups upright. They're both upright. And then those 2 are upright too, the 2 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles. So 2 2s, the Knight of Cups and the Emperor, very positive energy there. And then we end up there on the 4 of Pentacles with those 2 on the side that I told you about that referenced the 2 Pentacles in the beginning of the read that were also both reversed. So all the cards are out there, and then I have the 12 cards I put out. The top cards are the underlying energies. We start with Aries there. I put extra cards out today, but we're going to go through all of them. So Aries goes across down to Pisces there at the end on the, I'm sorry, that's the left. Did I say the right? Starts on the left, and then we end up here on the right with Pisces. I probably said that more than once. And then I have summary cards down here. So we'll get there when we get there. We're going to finish up the read here. All right. Just want to plug in before I forget to, and then I don't want to go off because I can't